Before the Great Flood, before nations, before human history as we know it began, the world was different. The boundaries between the spiritual and the physical were thinner. The heavens and the earth were not so far apart, and beings of immense power walked among mankind. They were called Watchers, sent to guide, protect, and observe, but in time, their mission would change forever. The Book of Enoch, an ancient text banned from most modern Bibles, reveals their story in chilling detail. And if Enoch was telling the truth, the Watchers never truly left. They're still here, still watching, and perhaps still influencing the course of our world. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might never see the world the same way again. Enoch was the great-grandfather of Noah, a man who, according to Scripture, walked with God and was taken up into heaven without seeing death. His writings are unlike any other prophetic book. They read like a heavenly journey, a testimony of things seen beyond the veil of our reality. Enoch claims that God revealed to him the secret history of creation, the fate of the fallen, and the coming judgment upon the earth. But at the center of his visions stands one story: the rebellion of the Watchers. These beings were originally assigned to watch over mankind. Enoch calls them holy angels, set on high mountains to observe the progress of humanity. But their watching turned to desire. They saw the daughters of men, and lust entered their hearts. Led by a powerful angel named Semjaza, 200 of them descended onto Mount Hermon and made a pact, a sworn oath that they would not turn back from their plan. They took human wives, and from this forbidden union came the Nephilim, giants of terrifying strength, beings who devoured the resources of the earth and turned violent against man and beast alike. But the corruption did not stop with bloodlines. The Watchers began to teach humanity forbidden knowledge. Semjaza taught enchantments and root cuttings, the secrets of sorcery. Erechale taught the signs of the earth, astrology and omens. Gadriel, according to Enoch, was the one who deceived Eve and now revealed the art of warfare, weapons, and killing. Penemu taught the art of writing, twisting what was meant for truth into deception. And Azazel, perhaps the most infamous of all, taught men to make weapons of war, to fashion jewelry and makeup, to manipulate beauty and desire for control. What the Watchers gave mankind was not meant for the appointed time. The knowledge was advanced, powerful, but it came without the wisdom to wield it. Civilizations grew in arrogance, the earth was filled with violence, and corruption spread to every living thing. Enoch describes a world spiraling out of control, where even the natural order itself began to break apart. The cries of the oppressed reached the heavens. And here's where it gets intense, because Enoch is taken. In his vision, Enoch is lifted by angels into the presence of the Almighty. He sees the great throne, rivers of fire flowing before it, and the countless multitudes of angels surrounding in worship. There, God pronounces judgment upon the Watchers. Their crime was unforgivable. For their rebellion, they would witness the destruction of their offspring, the Nephilim, and then be bound to the depths of the earth until the final judgment. And Enoch? He's commanded to deliver this verdict to them, a terrifying mission for any man. When Enoch delivers the message, the Watchers plead with him. They beg him to intercede for them, to ask God for mercy. Enoch describes them as trembling, their once proud stature now humbled. He prays on their behalf, but the answer is final. There will be no forgiveness. In his visions, he sees them bound in chains beneath the mountains, trapped in utter darkness until the great day of judgment. But here's where the story takes a darker turn, one that echoes into our present day. Because Enoch's visions are not just about the past, they are about cycles, patterns. The same forces that corrupted mankind before the flood are still active. And if you think that's just ancient history, look closer. The Book of Enoch hints that the spirits of the Nephilim, once destroyed in the flood, became disembodied, roaming the earth as unclean spirits. These are the origins of what we now call demons. And the influence of the Watchers, their knowledge, their symbols, their manipulation, never fully vanished. Consider this. The ancient knowledge the Watchers gave mankind was forbidden because it would lead to control and corruption. Today, we see the fingerprints of that same influence in the hidden symbols embedded in media, architecture, and politics. The rise of occult practices disguised as entertainment, the obsession with astrology, forbidden arts, and spiritual channeling. Even modern science, for all its advancements, seems to echo what the Watchers first taught: technology without moral boundaries, power without accountability. Mount Hermon, where the Watchers first descended, still stands today on the border of Syria and Lebanon. Local legends still speak of strange lights and supernatural activity on its slopes. Could it be that this place is still a portal, a thin place between realms? Enoch also speaks of a time before the end when the secrets of heaven would once again be revealed, when forbidden knowledge would flood the earth like never before. He warns of great deception, of signs in the heavens, and of rulers who serve hidden masters. The parallels to our modern world are hard to ignore. Artificial intelligence, genetic manipulation, the blending of human and machine. All of it feels eerily familiar to the ancient warnings about tampering with creation itself. And then there is the matter of symbols. The Watchers were masters of communication through signs, images that bypass the conscious mind and speak directly to the spirit. These symbols have reappeared in temples, monuments, and now in corporate logos and pop culture. They are the language of the unseen realm, and they are everywhere. If Enoch were here today, would he warn us that the same deception that ensnared the pre-flood world is rising again? The Book of Enoch closes with visions of the coming judgment, a world shaken to its core, the return of the Son of Man, and the final removal of all that is corrupt. The Watchers will face their sentence, their influence will end, and the earth will be restored. But until that day, the warning stands. The Watchers' knowledge is seductive. It promises power, enlightenment, and control, but it comes at the cost of your soul. So what are the Watchers doing right now? If Enoch's visions are true, their leaders remain bound, but their influence, through the spirits of their offspring, through the transmission of their symbols, and through those who seek their knowledge, continues. They are still watching, still waiting, still working through willing vessels to bring about the same rebellion that began on Mount Hermon thousands of years ago. And perhaps, in ways unseen, they are preparing for the day when their chains will be broken. So if you're still here, you're one of the few who sees there's more to this life than we've been told. This channel exists to pull back the curtain, to decode the symbols, expose the hidden history, and remind you of the truths the world wants you to forget. So subscribe, exit the program, and prepare for what's coming.